They do a great job supporting the community in many avenues, through events, through connections. As a business owner, the events that they hold for us to meet other members are very important, especially in the past year and a half. I believe it's become even more important. They're just a great part of the community and very well represented.
Well, I would say Williamson Inc. is a great partner for our community, not only creating jobs, but helping businesses grow. Partnership. They've done just such a great job in that area.
They provide a lot of trainings and resources, everything from marketing to financial support, and just an opportunity for the business community and the community as a whole to network on a regular basis.
They're accessible, they're engaged, and we talk frequently, not just during our legislative session when we're passing laws that could affect businesses in Tennessee, but throughout the rest of the year as well.
I think we have a great story, and Williamson Inc. was able to lead in many ways the advocacy, the public policy, the awareness of the community of what is going on and what is going to happen, and how we can get the business community together to make this place a great place to live and work.
Williamson Inc. is in so many ways the heart of our community. They find a way to bridge all the work, the education, the play in our community, and help us find ways to work together.
Thank you for making time to be here today. Welcome to our annual State of the County address. I'm thrilled to see so many people in the room. And as you heard through this video, partnerships are really what make this community great. And I'm sure Rogers will talk a lot about that and how important the education system is to the community and to the economy. My name is Matt Larchin. I'm the president and CEO of Williamson Inc. We're the county's Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development organization. And I know that we're here to hear Rogers speak, but this next part is really, for me, the highlight of the program. It's when I get to invite Rogers' grandkids on stage to lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you all will join me on stage, we'll get that started. All right. Who wants to fly? Everybody wants to fly. Okay. So make sure you face the flag.
Okay.
Hand over your heart. Okay, whenever you're ready. So face the flag, everybody. All right.
Okay.
So actually face it. Yeah. Hand over your heart.
Huh?
You go ahead and start.
Okay.
Ready? Go ahead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic of which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, of liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you. Great job, everybody. Great job. Great job. Rogers, that's going to be tough to compete with. It's going to be tough to compete with. I'm going to take a minute now and thank our presenting sponsor, Williamson Medical Center, for making this event possible. They're such a great community partner of ours and so important to this economy. It's my pleasure to welcome Nicole Vogt to the stage, who's going to introduce a special message from Williamson Medical Center. Nicole?
Hello, everyone. We are so proud to be your five-star hospital, and we're also very excited to share with you a new life-saving program that is being led by our emergency services team. We're only one of 7 in the entire country and the only one in the state that can do this. It is an amazing thing, and it's something that's going to impact and benefit everyone in this room. And it's just one more reason why we were all so lucky to live in this county. So the team wanted to tell you more about it, and one of our patients wanted to share their story too. So I'm going to show you a video that will explain more. Thank you.
We had just dropped a patient off at Williamson, returning to our zone in Nolensville, and I got a call from my mother.
I knew I was feeling funny. I was talking to my wife, and as I find out, I'm making no sense at all.
She said, well, we've taken his blood pressure. It's about 70/40. He's really confused. We showed up at the house, verified his blood pressure is very low. He's really pale. He's tachycardic, definitely in shock.
I was in the ambulance and still thinking, this is not that big a deal, until the doors opened and then somebody came with a unit of blood.
As soon as we administered the blood, he became non-critical. And it definitely turned him around real quick, that you could see like his color came back, his vitals stabilized, his heart rate came down, blood pressure came back up. Definitely did save his life.
We are the only department in Tennessee that if you call 911, we'll provide the blood to you at your home, on the side of the road, wherever you need us. We're really proud to be the ones that kind of got this started in Tennessee. We believe we're making differences in people's lives.
Administering blood in the right clinical setting is what's key here. You don't want to be administering blood to patients who do not need blood. We keep very tight scrutiny over the refrigeration of the blood and the preparation of the blood, the cooling process and the monitoring of the blood in the field to make sure that it meets all the standards required by the hospital.
We have packed red blood cells that are both O negative and O positive, and also we carry liquid plasma. So we carry those products in one of our supervisor vehicles, and it can respond anywhere in Williamson County, anytime, 24/7, to deliver those products to a field provider that has determined they need those for administration to a patient.
The types of cases that we see as far as that indicate that blood loss, like you mentioned, trauma, you also have the GI bleeds. Those are quite frequent. You also have potential blood loss with the peripartum patients, the pregnancy complications, those kinds of things.
So the training is intense, and it should be. The training involves a multitude of different scenarios, case studies, the pathophysiology of the blood products, the answering the why we need to give these products to the patients. It means so much to us to be able to have the opportunity to take this leap in steps for our state, not only the community, but we're leading the trend for the state. And we have multiple different departments around the serving area that are looking to us to be the primary example because we set the bar high.
I don't know that I would have made it. I believe it bought me the time I needed to get to the hospital.
If blood is the answer, having it and the ability to administer it in the field at that time can be critical. And we've had several cases where it's clearly been the difference between life and death. It's been the difference between somebody making it to the hospital alive or not.
Thanks again, Nicole, and your team at Williamson Medical Center. And like I said, for everything you do for our community and, frankly, for our economy as well. I also want to take a few minutes and thank our media partners today, Community Impact, Southern Exposure, Williamson Herald, Your Williamson, and WCTV, which is the first time they've actually live streamed this event, which is really exciting as well. If you take a look at the centerpiece in your table, you'll see this behind plastic. This is a list of some of our upcoming events. We're calling it a Return to Live Events series, and we know there's a big value in proximity and being together and having live events, obviously, as evidenced today. It helps keep you connected, and it really helps you plan for what is our shared economic future in Williamson County. And the two I wanted to mention specifically, the Women's Leadership Conference coming up in August, a list of our recurring events on the bottom, but then I think this is really important probably for every employer and organization in this room. We know in 2021 when we asked our members, they needed help with dealing with uncertainty, don't we all, lead generation, managing costs, customer retention, and most importantly with staffing, which is exactly why we are partnering for a job fair August 19th. We've had 64 companies and organizations already sign up. It is free to sign up. Just take your smartphone with the QR code. We'd love to have you be a part of this. Share this on your networks, personal and professional, because it's one thing to get the companies to exhibit. We also need to get people that are looking for jobs throughout the Nashville region. So again, it's August 19th at McEwen Northside, free to exhibit and free to attend. One of the things that's special about this community is really our education system. And it's my pleasure to get an opportunity to recognize the leadership when it comes to the young people in our schools that are really the ones that are going to be future leaders for our community and communities across the country and across the world. So at this point, I would like to introduce Nick Benneker, both with our team and with Youth Leadership Brentwood, and Julian Bibb with Leadership Franklin to the stage. And they're actually going to make presentations to honor this year's winners of scholarships for each respected programs. And as they're making their way to the stage, I want to take this moment and thank Nick for all his hard work on our Innovation Center, which just opened its doors last week at the former campus of O'Moore College, Franklin Grove. It's going to be a tremendous asset for the community, and Nick, you've done an amazing job in putting that together, so thank you for that. And, yep, absolutely. And I also want to say, Julian, I've never had a chance to introduce you, and I don't think I can do it justice, this room can do it justice, what you've meant to the civic fabric of Williamson County for the past several decades. So thank you, Julian, for everything you've done for this community. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. All right, I'll turn it over to you all.
Awesome, thank you. So each year, the Williamson County Chamber Foundation and Leadership Brentwood Alumni Association, along with Youth Leadership Brentwood and Leadership Franklin, present college scholarships to high school students.
Thank you. Well, applicants for these scholarships represent the very best, very top leaders, scholars in Brentwood and Franklin. They are the cream of the crop. So at this point, I'm going to announce the Leadership Franklin Scholarship winner. Leadership Franklin Scholarship winner, please stand, is M.J. Brown. MJ is sitting with his parents. He's a Brentwood High School graduate, and he will be attending Washington University in the fall. His parents, Marvin and Candace, thank you for being here today, and we are very, very proud of your son. Thank you.
And I have to go off script for just a second and say, we did, what, Lynn, 6 interviews out of many more candidates than that applied for this scholarship, and we just had some incredible students apply. If you ever question the strength of the school system, you wouldn't after you sat through these interviews. The things these kids are doing, students, excuse me, not kids anymore, are just amazing, absolutely incredible. So the first Youth Leadership Brentwood Scholarship winner that we have is Srichi Delai. You can make your way up. She's a Ravenswood High School graduate. Srichi is attending University of Chicago this fall, and her parents and her brother are both here to cheer her on today. So round of applause. Our next recipient is Hersha Kandi. She is a Brentwood High School graduate, and she's attending Middle Tennessee State University. And she also has her parents here today. And Michael, if you want to make your way up as well, I think we're going to grab a photo next to the stage, and then that is that. Thanks, Matt.
Great. Thank you. At this time, we will ask each of our scholarship winners to to address us and talk about what they're planning for during college.
That's an important piece. Can I step it off?
Hi, I'm MJ. I just graduated from Brentwood High School, and in the fall, I'm going to be attending Washington University in St. Louis. And I'm currently in their business school, but I'm thinking about double majoring in international studies as well, and maybe minoring in Spanish. So, yeah.
Hi, my name is Sarichi, and I graduated from Ravenwood High School. I will be attending the University of Chicago, majoring in economics on the business track.
Hi, my name is Hersha Kandi. I just graduated from Brentwood with MJ, and I will be going to MTSU. I'm actually part of a program there called the Medical School Early Acceptance Program. So considering I keep my grades up, I will be going to Meharry Medical College after 3 years at MTSU, and I hope to serve rural communities in Tennessee after that.
And now the photo.
It's been a while since we've done something in person, so still working out the kinks. Anyway, I never get the pleasure of actually introducing the county mayor. I did have the honor of getting to work for him for 4 years, though. I get to introduce his daughter, Laura Howard, who makes the official introduction. But just let me say that his leadership has been tremendous, especially during these incredibly difficult times. And I've never been more proud that I could call Rogers my mayor this last year. So Rogers, thanks for everything you did through the pandemic and hopefully everything you're going to do in the years to come. So now at this point, Laura, I'll introduce you to make the formal introduction of Rogers to take the stage.
It's my pleasure to introduce my dad as the speaker today. He is a graduate of the University of Tennessee at Knoxville, where he received a degree in business and an education. He's a veteran of the United States Air Force, where he served in Africa and Vietnam. After being elected to the county mayor in 2002, he retired from 25 years in the private insurance sector. He served on the Williamson County Commission from 1986 to 2002. He served 4 years as the chairman of the county commission and 8 years as the vice chairman. He is currently the chairman of the Williamson County Fair Board, the Mid-Cumberland HRA, Association of County Mayors, and vice chairman of the Transportation Management Authority. He is a member of the Tennessee Advisory for Intergovernmental Relations, Williamson, Inc., and Economic Development Council, Franklin Noon Rotary, Workforce Essentials Board, Tennessee Hospital Association Board, and a member of the Franklin Leadership Alum. He is a member at Barry's Chapel Church of Christ and a founding member of Grassland Athletic Association. Dad has 3 kids. My oldest brother, Ryan, he did the prayer. He's married to Laura, and they have 3 children, Audrey, Evangeline, and Iris. Then my middle brother, Travis, is married to Ren, and they have Olivia, Molly, and Scott. And then I am married to Kevin, and we have McCabe, Cole, and Raleigh. Dad has 9 grandchildren that he loves so well and so dearly. And when I think about Dad, I think about his love for God. I think about his love for family, his love for this county, and his love for gardening. There are many parallels to how Dad functions in life as a gardener. For example, you don't have to plant everything at the same time. He is patient, he's intentional, he respects succession in gardening and in business and politics. Not all crops are created equal. He values challenges, respects individuals, is constantly willing to think creatively and fiscally. Keeping on top of the weeds will save you time and frustration. You can't be in politics without a healthy respect for a wild plant growing where it's not wanted. He's known for saying, you turn the soil, put in the seeds, and let God do the rest. He recognizes the all-powerful nature of a providential God that equips us all with skills, nurtures our every needs, yet he designs the best garden. It's my pleasure to introduce a master gardener, a wonderful father, most gracious dad, and the mayor of Williamson County, Rogers Anderson.
Kind of hard to follow that. So it's been 2 years since we have had the opportunity in person to do this. And a few moments ago, you heard 8 of the 9 grandchildren, one of them couldn't be here today, do the pledge. And as I always try to do, because I am a veteran, if you're a veteran, would you please stand? so we can recognize you. I'm very passionate about that. All right, and so we go. In 2020, there was a national pandemic, commonly referred to as the COVID-19.
That's all I have to say about that.
The Board of Commissioners met on July the 12th and approved a total year budget of $650 million. Of this total, $497 million, or about 76% of it, is included for the operations of our Williamson County schools. In the past 20 years, 2002 to the budget just approved ending 6/30, the County Commission has continued to ensure the funding for public education. It is a priority in our budgets, as you saw by these young people here earlier today. Collectively, these funds related to the school operations account for over 66% of the county's total budget. When you add to the amount of debt associated with the public education, the percentage rises to 77%. In other words, every dollar of taxes you pay in, about 77 cents of that goes back to public education. There is no denying the importance of excellent public education, and your elected county commissioners are committed to it. If you are a county commissioner, would you please stand so we can recognize you? I know there are several here in the audience, 3 or 4 in the back. I also want to say thank you to the Budget Committee this year. I actually served 2 years. It was headed up by Chairman Paul Webb, Judy Herbert, Barb Sturgeon, and Chaz Morton. And I appreciate their hard work and tough decisions they had to make during the year, which required a tax increase. One of the reasons that the Commission is able to support education to the degree, in part, is to the other elected officials. The respective budgets, and they watch their budgets in a respectable manner, in a conservative manner. And so if you're a other Williamson County official, would you please stand so we can say thank you to you, all the other elected officials in the county. And I see, I'll go off script a little, the other elected, like aldermen and commissioners, and I know there's a mayor or two from other areas, would you please stand too? You're very important to everything you do in our county. Thank you, Kim. And I need to recognize my staff for an excellent job that they did this year. Would you please stand? Nina, all of you, please stand. All of you that had something, Phoebe. They really do a great job of watching the money that you bestow upon us. The day-to-day operations of the remaining 30% of the budget is under the elected officials and the department heads. And one of the things I would like to leave with you today is that for the last 3 of the 4 years, we've had a clean audit from the Comptroller's office. What a statement that says. Thank you very much. Kind of get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation this morning. Debt it can be a very complicated debate. Growth creates the need for the infrastructure. Long-term infrastructure is financed with long-term debt so that the costs are shared by both current and future residents. In a growing county such as ours, it is a reality that it's not reasonable to think that a county could be free of debt. Under the county's financial advisor was Sam Cruz. He updates us quite frequently with information showing the current amount of bonded indebtedness that we have in the county, which is approximately $818 million. Of this total, 2/3 is directly related to schools. The remaining debt is attributable to land, building, and equipment related to public safety, judicial services, medical facilities, parks, recreation, solid waste, and all the other functions that go along with government that are not related to schools. Within the next 5 years, $233 million, or about 28% of that debt on the bonds, will be paid off. Currently, $500 million, or almost 60% of the bonds, are scheduled to be paid off within the next 10 years. $709 million of the current bonding debt is to be retired in the next 15 years. That kind of gives you a schedule what the Budget Committee and the County Commission have to deal with. Many of you recall that Williamson County had a sales referendum 3 years ago to provide additional revenue for funding education. Once it was approved, individual contractual agreements between the cities of Franklin and Brentwood and Spring Hill, Thompson Station, Nolensville, and the county school system were all enacted so that money would go to help paying off debt that would last for over a period of 3 years. And they submitted these increased revenues to the county for school debt. Throughout the past 3 years, let's show you what actually happened when you spend locally. Franklin generated over $12 million worth of revenue. Brentwood generated $6.3 million. Spring Hill, $1.1. Thompson Station, $354,000. Nolensville, $274,000. And the school system, which gets half of all the sales tax generated in this county, they received $20 million. For a total contribution during that 3-year period of your involvement, particularly Matt's and the chambers, showing we had over $75 million that was attributed to being able to pay off this continued growth that we have for public education. Thank you, municipalities. Thank you, Jason and the school board. Thank you very much, citizens, for allowing us to do that. At the end of June of this year, the agreement's ended, so the cities now get all of that money. So they'll have extra revenue coming into their capital projects as they see needed. A new animal care facility consisting of approximately 34,000 square feet is slated to open in November of this year. Andrea Johnson, our director, and her staff will soon be able to welcome you for a ribbon cutting and tour. The project has been a partnership with Jim Cross, Joey Hatch, and their team at Oversight, who was selected by the county under a new program called the Public Building Authority, the PBA, to serve as the county's representative on various construction projects. The group of men and women who serve as the PBA are volunteers who agree to serve in an effort to give back to their community. State law allows the county the ability to establish a PBA to oversee and manage capital projects. With their service and respected expertise, these men and women, they're able to procure the services of architects and engineers and owners, representatives, and contractors through methods that we do not have at our footsteps as county government. For an example, the PBA can seek construction work for certain projects through a requisition for proposals instead of the old lowest bid gets the job. This has resulted in several $1 million worth of savings that we have put in just in one project, the animal center. Thanks, Jim, very much. In addition to the animal care facility, the Public Building Authority has now been selected, if you call it that, we volunteered them, for the firm of Gresham and Smith as the architect for the upcoming Triple J project. They'll be providing oversight for the construction processes for our new juvenile court, juvenile services, a new jail, the sheriff, and administrative offices. As we are preparing for these capital growth needs, the county has acquired an additional facility at the end of Beasley Drive to help add to the existing facility campuses in that area. That's going to get a little complicated with that map that Jamie has put up. Follow along with me. The current plan is to relocate operations of the current warehouse to a new facility, which will then allow us to demolish this facility and make room for the construction of a new structure. The current plan is to replace the demolished warehouse with a new juvenile facility that is phase one of the Triple J future outlook plan that supports the county's needs for the next 20 to 25 years. We'll be breaking ground this summer on a new 2-story climate-controlled archives facility. Our current documents are being stored in the front of the soon-to-be demolished warehouse, and the transition of these precious records and historical documents are paramount to the safekeeping as required by law. Also being relocated from the warehouse is equipment from 6 separate departments. The county's surplus equipment and vehicles will also be moved to this new warehouse. As you can tell, this will be a major renovation and construction juggling act, and I would like to thank the members of the PBA that are here today. Please stand and say thanks for doing it. Would you please stand, James, all of you? These men and the lady that's not able to be with us, they give up their time. They leave their job, oftentimes rearrange their schedule to come back and oversee these million-dollar projects, and a personal thank you. We have other capital expenses in the project that the County Commission approved for the budget. We have 25 new replacement vehicles, cameras and body scanners for the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Dusty Rhodes will have over 130 of our officers with body cams. At the end of the budget this year, we'll have a total of 230 body cams throughout all of our sheriff's offices, including our patrols, our court services, school resource officers, and our detention officers. We're going to design and partial construct cost of the new emergency management station in Burwood. I hope everyone knows where Burwood is. If you don't, see me after this meeting. As well as 2 new fire apparatuses for that location. We have a new fire station for the Grassland Fire Hall, a purchase of property in the Triune area for a new fire station there, and Parks and Recreation will have a stronghold out in the Triune area, which is one of the fastest growing parts of our county now. And we have phase 2 of our Bethesda Community Recreation Facility off on the Bethesda Road. We've been trying to get this in for some 20 years, and we've finally been able to do it, and I'm looking forward to that. Replacement vehicles for the landfill and the highway department, and 4 new ambulances for our Williamson Medical Center. It is our hope that the new ambulances do not resemble the first ambulance. That was originally from Ghostbusters. While the 2020 census numbers have not yet been received, it should come at no surprise that it's estimated that approximately 516 new people move to Williamson County every month. Vehicle registration is one of the ways we can tell we're growing. We had an increase of over 8,500 more from one year to the next. That's approximately 708 transactions that are occurring in our complex every month at the clerk's office. I do want to make you aware that you can get those renewal of your car tags by simply going to one of the Parks and Recs or even to the complex at one of the kiosks and get your tags renewed without actually physically coming in. Or you can order them online. The renewal process can take about 5 minutes through this process. We have plans, as you can see from the drawing, to have a drive-through for your convenience at the main complex that we have. When we talk about growth, I want to share something else that is very important. During the last 10 years, we've had 26,198 residential building permits. I'll give you a breakdown of those because there are people here from all points of the county. Brentwood had 2,162. Fairview had 731. Franklin had 11,240. Nolensville had 2,728. Spring Hill, only in the Williamson County side, 3,384. Thompson Station, 1,849 new building permits, and in the county we had 4,104. When I say the county, the outside the city areas. In March of this year, building permits issued in the unincorporated area, outside the cities, was the largest single month of permits issued since 1989. That's when we began keeping records. The largest number of permits in March falls on the heels of the Planning Commission and the County Commission adopting a new 5-acre minimum requirement for single-family home construction that went into effect last November. For the past 6 months of this year, a total of 397 residential permits have been issued. At the current trend we're on, we will see the highest year of building permits ever in the history since 1989 in the unincorporated area, far exceeding our highest year that we've ever had in 1993. You know, people don't just move here for education. We say that, but they really move here also for education and the availability of good paying jobs and job growth. In the latest report from the Tennessee Department of Labor, Williamson County reflected the lowest unemployment rate in the state at 3.4 for the month of June. We have one of the lowest crime rates. Thank you, cities. Thank you, county, and to our court system. We have wonderful parks throughout our county, throughout our cities, and we also have increased value growth in your individual properties that you have. During this past year, the assessor's office was charged with the responsibility of conducting a countywide appraisal on all commercial, residential and commercial property, and we saw a 26% increase in higher reappraisal values than we did just 5 years ago. Though not everyone was in agreement with their increased values, and it's important to note that the reappraisals are required to be revenue neutral, meaning that the county's tax rate must be certified at an amount which does not create more revenue for the county than the prior assessed value and associated tax rate. You know, the positive side of this, as we're beginning to see and hear, are the higher assessed values that come when the property owner becomes the seller. The reappraisal program is in place to keep property values current with the market value, so at the time of the sale, the higher assessed value becomes valuable, very valuable to the seller. Many of you have heard, if you've heard me speak lately, about another number. So all the total value that we've got in Williamson County, every city, every resident, every commercial, that value that Brad Coleman's team put together was $65 billion. Now that number in itself doesn't mean a lot to people that don't keep up with numbers, but let me just take you back 10 years ago. That number was 30 billion. So in 10 years, we more than doubled. It took us 220 some odd years to get to the first 30, and we doubled that in 10 short years. Some of you may recall that in 2000, the state required the leadership of all cities and counties to work out a planned growth map that was based on projections of growth at that time. In recent months, the city and the county staff and leaders have recognized the need for updating the growth boundaries based on today's growth information. To my knowledge, no other county or municipality is doing this throughout our state. This new growth plan coordinating committee will begin to officially coordinate efforts of the county and all of our cities, and there'll be numerous opportunities for you to provide your input, information about how you want the next 5 and 10 years of our county to live, to be, so you can live there. An advisory group consisting of representatives from all the jurisdictions as well as the stakeholders, including the business community, the utility provider, agricultural interest, and believe me, we still have agricultural interest, and the school districts are meeting to discuss and evaluate locations for future growth so that we can have adequately and timely infrastructure and public facilities. This is important for our state reps and state senators here today. In a few months, we'll have the census data that's coming in, and we'll need to review the average number of constituents currently serving within each of the county's 12 voting districts. The County Commission established the members of the Reapportionment Committee to review the current district boundaries and advise them in accordance with new population statistics. So you can kind of see the map. Maybe you can't see it in the back real good. We have 12 districts in our county. Each of those districts touch another district, and you got to be 5% plus or minus of the touching districts. So some of those districts are going to change, and the results will be sent to the General Assembly. And they will conduct a similar process, and at the end of the process, many of the elected officials, districts, and changes, and many of our registered voters will be assigned new elected representatives for their local, state, and federal voting district. So as our community grows, take Spring Hill for an example. We've currently got 2 county commissioners. Hold up a minute, Jamie. We've got 2 county commissioners that pretty much dominantly, they're county commissioners, but they live within the city and they present those to the city. You will see some changes in that area, particularly from Fairview or Brandon in your area, all in that Grassland area, the way our growth patterns are occurring. The Williamson County Election Commission will soon be relocating to a county-owned property on Downs Boulevard. Many of you know that. The staff will welcome the expanded room to operate and be ready to meet you to register to vote, pick up or file a qualifying petition to run for office, and answer all the questions if you so desire. That's on Downs Boulevard. That should be completed later this year. That's been in the works, and we bought a LoJack's. If any of you know where Downs Boulevard is, that old building of LoJack's is being converted. So as a reminder, you will not need, and also as a reminder, you don't need to vote at your precinct. The law changed, and now you'll be able to vote at different locations without going back to your specific location. Living in a growing county like ours requires a lot of partnerships with other government entities and the private sector. I'm proud of how the municipalities in Williamson County are always willing to work together to help ensure quality of life services and the facilities. The end of last month, the city of Franklin cut the ribbon and officially opened the 7th fire station adjacent to the county ag park. In this partnership, Williamson County donated land for the emergency services facility and funded an additional on-site ambulance, and the city of Franklin provided the sewer taps, built a wonderful facility. Thank you, Dr. Moore, and Eric for working through that. In April, just this year, Brentwood helps the grand opening for their new police headquarters on Heritage Way. This facility was the largest capital project in Brentwood's history, and it will enable them to house all of their police divisions under one roof. Great job to all of you up in Brentwood. Thank you very much for letting us be part of that as we put an ambulance structure, detached structure there on that facility to help all of you. And all these future partnerships require the commitment from Williamson Medical Center to staff these facilities. And it enables more direct response to serve the areas of the county, city, or county and reduce response time, which helps save lives. Speaking of Williamson Medical Center, as a board member, serving with several of the other elected officials, physicians, and residents, I'm extremely proud of the recent 5-star rating from the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services they received. This rating is required by using scores for 5 measuring groups: safety of care, readmission, mortality, patient experience, timely, and efficient care. Williamson Medical Center is among only 3 5-star rated hospitals in the state of Tennessee and only 1 of 455 nationwide. When let's drive. When Don Webb, our past CEO, retired from the hospital, the Board of Trustees, led under the direction of Bo Butler, conducted a nationwide search, and we fortunate enough to find a gentleman by the name of Phil Mazuka, and Phil's with us. Phil, would you stand up so that everyone can see you? Welcome. He has 38 years' experience in hospital management. We're happy to welcome him to the Williamson Medical Center facility. I think we can all relate when it's stated that women make the most of the decisions in the family. Williamson Medical Center has just recently named some of these awards. One of America's 100 Best Hospital for Patient Experience and Women's Choice Awards. This is a national referral source. The America's Best Hospital for Patient Experience ranked Williamson Medical Center 93 out of 1,000 hospitals, one of among the 400 awarded recipients representing hospitals that have met the highest standard of patient experience in the U.S. Additionally, Williamson Medical Center has earned the Women's Choice Award in 2021 for patient safety, mammogram services, and minimal invasion surgery, heart care, and a comprehensive breast center. The Emergency Medical Center at the hospital is involved in a 2-year pilot program. You saw the clip that Nicole had put together to explain that. I'm very proud of that. That will save lives as we go down the road. To think we're the only one in the state and they piloted it. What this really means is that gentleman said, you're in need of blood, the EMS staff can get it to you and probably save your life. I'm also pleased to report that Williamson Medical Center was only one of 8 hospitals under Bo Butler's direction to have all of the board members completely certified by THA, Tennessee Hospital. Thanks, Bo. Join me in a round of applause to all of our medical people here. I know there's doctors here, nurses here, other institutions here. We couldn't have done it without you during the last year. Thank you. While I'm on the topic of health care, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the outstanding work of the staff at the local health department, public safety, the National Guard, the team at the Ag Park, hundreds and hundreds of volunteers. Through the 437 working days, the amazing team of individuals oversaw the operation and administered tests and shots for the COVID-19 for our county. We were averaging 40 tests within a very short time. In fact, my son, who led the prayer, he was number 2 or 3 to come down with COVID, came home and didn't really know what to do with him, so his wife and I just stuck him upstairs in the room and said, we'll bring you food. And he survived very pointedly this morning. But we started with 40 tests a day, and just a couple of days, we were doing 663 of those every single day. We did 22,800 calls, 57,000 COVID tests, and 90,000 plus vaccines were completed. Let me stop here for a moment. Vaccines are still being administered by the health department, and the Franklin Transit will take you over at no charge to any of those centers to get your shots. We are still in the midst of a COVID-19 pandemic. Current information shows an ongoing rise in the number of calls, this variant. Please do your research. I encourage you, there's not going to be a mandate, but encourage yourself to research and to feel what's best for you and your immediate family. It is very important to our county because we're the #1 county in the state for vaccines throughout the state of Tennessee, and that's through education and dedication to what you care about your families. And through our medical teams, once again, it makes a difference at the end of the day. I want to say thank you. Don't often thank lawyers. But there's one legal team that was with us and still with us for 437 days. Berger, Mosley, and Carson. Lisa Carson and Jeff Mosley. They read every single state and federal guideline that came down the pike to be sure that we were doing it right. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Berger and Mosley. Many of you in the last few days have seen that the state is getting, or has announced under the American Rescue Plan. You know it's bad when your grandkids lead you in your speech. I'm about finished. Under the American Rescue Plan, the federal government is appropriated $1.9 trillion to help the stimulus bill. This was passed by Congress, signed by the President of the United States, and the funds were approved in an effort to speed up the United States' recovery from the economic and health effects of the COVID-19 and the ongoing recession. The legislation included $65.1 billion directly to every county in America. Williamson County is set to receive about $45 million of these funds. Under the oversight again of the legal team and the staff, we're going through those, trying to determine which is best for us. The hooker, as all government funds are, that if you do not spend it and you intend that it's to be spent, guess what? They want it back. And they don't get the money after you've already spent it. They take it out of our property tax. So if you see us dragging our feet, we're trying to get it right and be sure that we are not faced with having to return any of that money. One of the provisions of that act is the expansion of broadband services throughout all of our county. Among those lines, Williamson County has been meeting with Middle Tennessee Electric as a cooperative to identify areas in our rural area to provide broadband through United Communications. Discussions are ongoing to establish a partnership which will provide high-speed internet to our rural residents and our county facilities not currently being served. In other words, we're going to run it like an interstate highway. If you understand the way the interstate runs, when they first started building in the late 50s and early 60s, they made the main roads and then the arterial roads came off of that. We're going to take that same approach under broadband. United Communications is committed to seeing that Williamson County becomes the first border-to-border county with world-class broadband fiber services. Once completed, this will allow students, staff, and businesses the ability to have access to high-speed internet, and they can still learn and work from home in the event something else happens. In recent months prior to the passage of the Federal Act, Williamson County contracted with Vogue Towers to provide 3 tower sites in the county to improve and provide a high-speed wireless network totally dedicated to public safety. The platform will provide the latest tools for public safety and a response to all of our county residents. As I bring the speech to a close today, I want to remind you that 9 Days of Fun starts first Friday in August. The 2021 Williamson County Fair, with a mission to provide family-friendly fair, promote agriculture, bringing families together, and celebrate traditions, will be held August the 6th to the 14th. The board, or the Fair Board, has implemented a clear bag policy for 2021. If you go to the Titans or the Predators game, maybe the Predators, I don't know about, the Titans for sure, they have a clear bag policy, and so they call it the BYOB. That stands for Bring Your Own Bag for this year, and we encourage everyone to visit the website, check out the things to know before you go in that section. Discounted tickets are currently available online for both fair admissions, and this year you'll have the ability to purchase the midway rides. We are expecting a very, very large crowd out at the fair, as all other events this year. We encourage you to go to the website to take care of advantage of those specials. And we want to encourage folks to check out the ever-changing weather forecast that's been put on there. So the fair is not doing the refunds just typically the way we normally do it, but to give people warning. And they can be visited at the WilliamsonCountyFair.org website. There's lots of things I could say. I know that you all are getting tired of hearing me, and my voice is about to leave me. But it has been a pleasure to be the county mayor during the last year and a half, even though as tough as it has been. But I couldn't have done it without mayors and city managers, hospital staff, law enforcement, fire, all of you. In the early days, we were doing, 3 and 5 calls a week trying to get this thing right about mask or no mask, or what do we do? Tough calls that were made. But what an honor it is to be around those men and women that are willing to step up to the plate and say this is what's best for our city or what's best for our county. Thank you for today. May God bless and continue to watch over you and take care of our county, and hopefully we'll see you again next year without any pandemic issues. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Rogers. You know, I think more than anything last year was character revealing, and I think we really saw the character of the leadership in this county. So I couldn't be, again, more proud to call you my mayor and the rest of the community as well. Just a couple things before we go. Thank you all for making time to be here today. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks, Rogers, for your message. We've got some other events that we haven't scheduled yet, too. We've got our State of the Schools event. Schools was mentioned a lot during Rogers' presentation. You saw an example of the school systems here on stage as well. So we'll take a deep dive into just how important the schools are to the future and the current state of the Williamson County economy. Again, if you're not a member and want to join, come see me afterwards. We'd love to have you part of our organization to contribute to this community. Thank you all for your continued investment in Williamson County through your investment in Williamson Inc., and have a great rest of the day.